So I've been playing this game for a while. BlackMyth WuKong has been so fun, and the game is amazing. Way better than I thought it was, and I am hooked. I'm actually trying to pull away from it to play other games like Warhammer. I just can't seem to get away from BlackMyth, but I'm getting there. And throughout my experiences, I've discovered some combat tips that you might not know have existed, and I just wanted to share with you. What's going on, y'all? It's 𝐵Righteous from Identity. Welcome to my channel. Now let's not waste any more time. And for number one, I'm just going to start out with a simple one because I actually didn't find this out until about chapter 2, and I was curious as to how much damage I was dealing to these enemies, especially with crits. So if you want to know exactly how much damage you're dealing, there are two ways. One is to go to the options and turn on damage numbers. Once you do this, then you'll see the numbers fall off the enemy as you attack them. So then you'll be able to see how much damage you're dealing with crits, with normal attacks, so you can see if you're dealing enough damage. Another method is to just listen in. If you notice, when you hit the enemy, there'll be a distinct sound that it makes that's different from your normal attacks. I haven't really been able to hear it that much. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. I have some Astros, which are great headphones, but still, it's really hard for me to hear it. So to be sure, I just turn on the damage numbers, and whatever way or method you feel is best for you, you can go ahead and implement that. Number two, and this one comes with some controversy, okay? I made a few videos about this, and 2 of the 3 builds that I've already uploaded on YouTube have this mask. It's an uncommon mask that you can get from the 𝐿𝐶 boss in the beginning. It's one of the first main bosses in chapter 1. It's called the Grey Wolf Mask, and you can attain it from defeating this boss at the very beginning. I have no idea why it cannot be upgraded. Maybe because the unique effect is so great. And a lot of people don't really understand how good this is. Some people comment on my video saying this mask sucks in endgame. It's just not good. It can't be upgraded. So many different reasons why. Some people even say that the unique effect doesn't work against enemies whose health is low, but yours. So let's kind of set the record straight right now. First of all, the unique effect is such that whenever the enemy is at critical health, which is at about 20 to 30%, then you deal a considerable amount of damage increase. Now, the reason why this is so great is because when enemies get to that critical health, or when they get to half health, you either see a second phase, or the enemy gets increasingly more aggressive, or both. This happens in every Souls-like game, no fail. And before I played BlackMyth WuKong, I didn't think it would fall into that Souls-like category as far as the difficulty, like Elden Ring level, but it definitely does. Just fight that scorpion boss in that hidden area in chapter 4, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Anyways, this mask comes in super clutch because it's when you're gonna need that extra damage the most. And if some of you still aren't believers in that it works when the enemy is at critical health, then just look at this. There couldn't be a better indication that this is the case. Whenever you see an enemy's health that low, pay close attention to the Grey Wolf Mask's eyes. They're gonna glow red, indicating that he smells blood. This actually put the nail in the coffin for me believing that. BlackMyth WuKong has no blocking. You're not supposed to really tank damage. You're actually supposed to perform perfect dodges so you could gain the focus point bonuses to return that damage in kind. So this mask actually makes you a better player. Moving on. Number 3, and this is a good one. Speaking of damage, now I don't know if this really applies to every category of damage or bonus, but we're just gonna go with the crits, right? You know how it says slightly, moderately, considerably, significantly, massively increases your critical hit chance when doing said move or ability. That really got on my nerves, not knowing. I had to perform some extensive testing, and I made a video about this, so I'm not really gonna go into the detail as much in this video, but the link to that one will be in the description. You can check it out after this video. But these values aren't just a fixed number, right? Slightly is from 1 to 3%, and all of them are based on your vessel, curios, your gear. It's very in-depth, and everything has a certain range of crit based on the circumstance. Slightly, 1 to 3%, moderate, 6 to 8%, considerable, 10 to 12%, significant, 14 to 16%, and massively goes into the 20% range, maybe even more. And we're going to keep this crit chance hype train going because this one is about how you can gain crit chance based on the focus points consumed. And this is specifically with a particular arm guard called the 𝐒𝐻𝐻. Whenever you consume a focus point, it grants a moderate amount of critical hit chance. Now, what do we say moderate is in a range between 6 to 8%? In the case of these Okri arm guards, it's 6%. And this is the change, because depending on how many focus points are built up, it'll grant that amount of critical hit chance. So if you only have 1 focus point, it'll give you 6%. On the other hand, if you have 3 focus points, it'll give you a whopping 18%. Isn't that crazy? How can you not use these arm guards as a meta piece of your build in any one of them? Number 5, what is might? This is a pretty simple one. This is one of these ambiguous terms that's hidden within the skill tree, specifically transformations. So which one do you think you should use? At first glance, you want to use attack, right? In that mode to deal as much damage as you can. But might increases your overall gain for dishing out those special attacks like the golden lining, the yellow dragon transformation that you get for defeating him. Whenever you perform a light attack then a heavy attack, he's going to do some sort of a counter block that interrupts the enemy's attack and gives you a focus point for that transformation. This focus point, once leveled up to 3, gives you an insane attack that deals a massive amount of damage, similar to Red Tides. But Red Tides, you don't need focus points, he'll just perform it after you do a series of attacks. But might helps out with everything that happened within that transformation, so I think that you should level this up first before attack, personally. Number 6. Now this is a good one. I tell you what, these are some good combat tips, and I didn't even realize until I started looking at this. We're increasing the crit hype train even more, and that's in how you can double and triple your crit. Now, I thought this was a bug, ladies and gentlemen. After I did my first NG+, I went to my curios, and I was in the first slot, and in the second slot, I already had the cat eye beads equipped. Then I clicked on it again in my first slot, and I equipped the second set of cat eye beads. I'm like, yo, hold on, this can't be right. So then I looked at my attributes on the right, and lo and behold, it's not a bug. This actually adds on to your values. So instead of it being 3, and you know, slightly is in the category of 1 to 3%, and that seems low, but not here, does it? So if you New Game Plus 3 times, then you'll be able to have 9% critical hit chance for your curios if you want to crit your entire build out, which is awesome. And I have some insane ideas for the king of crit builds. I just got that new weapon, the one that has 25% critical hit chance base. That's broken. And you know what? Right before I was even able to use it, after I obtained it, I didn't even get a chance to test it out, but I will tonight, best believe. And that's the next build that's coming. Number 7. And this one right here is pretty hidden. I don't know how many of these there are, but I know of one that's very good. This is that certain unique effects are activated within the skill tree and we don't even know. I made a build with the golden dragon staff, right? The golden long staff. And its unique effect, upon consuming 3 or 4 focus points, it'll summon a dragon spirit to come down as a lightning attack, putting the enemy in a shocked state where they're weakened and susceptible to more damage. It's a great staff. The problem is that these staffs can't be upgraded. I don't know why it's not like that, because we have our favorites. Some staffs I don't want to use, but I'm forced to because it's just stronger than the other one. This almost kills build variety, doesn't it? So I hope that later on in the game, the developers fix this problem so we can have even more versatility within the builds. But anyways, I'm getting off track. The whole idea to this is that there's a dragon robe. The long robe is called a dragon scale robe. By the way, long is translated as dragon, if you didn't know. That's why I'm using the word interchangeably. Its unique effect is that activating Vengeful Mirage on the skill tree will cause a clone that applies the Thunderbane on the enemy. And you can activate this by just unlocking that on a skill tree. It's pretty far down at the bottom. And it's one of the coolest skills I've ever seen because we're always dodging. And we want to aim for those perfect dodges, and it gives you this passive damage throughout fights that help with the fight, especially in those clutch times and clutch moments. And with that, we're going to end it off on a pretty nice one. It's a juicy one. Some people might not know this. I actually didn't really figure it out until later on. It's when you're leveling your gear to Mythic, right? Whenever you level up your gear to Mythic, it adds something onto the set. Like, for example, the Pilgrim's Garb. By the way, that thing looks awesome once it's upgraded to Mythical. But there's an extra mythical skill that's added that basically, while sprinting, besides the fact that you gain a moderate amount of attack damage per second. And this is crazy, right? And I know I'm getting off kill a little bit, but this has to be addressed. And I want to ask, do these names like moderate, slightly, considerable apply to the same way that the crit values apply? Like for the Pilgrim's Garb, it moderately increases your attack damage per second, and it stacks up to 10 times. So if moderate is within 6 to 8% of critical hit chance, this will mean that you'll get either 60 to 80% weapon damage once you get 10 stacks. That's crazy. That's a conversation for another day. If you see this little unique effect or talent or skill grayed out, that means it's not active. And the way that you activate it is that you have to upgrade every single piece of your mythical gear to that level in order to gain that bonus. And I think that's pretty much it for this video. These are just 8 combat tips that I found out through my journeys of playing BlackMyth WuKong, and I'm sure there are tons of others, and I welcome your ideas and what you found out in the comment section below. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel if you're new here for builds, guides, and discussions. And if you want to see that video that I made specifically about the different values that slight, moderate, considerable, etc. give you, it's right here. Click the link and it'll take you straight there. I'll see you in the next one. Be right out.